Mangalam Kosalendraya Mahaniya Gunatmane Chakravarti Tanujaya Sarvabhaumaya Mangalam. Jai Shri Ram. Namaste everyone. Welcome back to Zesty Nimbu. This is Sri Rekha. Today I am going to talk about Vaimanika Shastra written by Rishi Bharadwaja. This will be the first video in our series on Rishis and Munis. Who was Rishi Bharadwaja? Rishi Bharadwaja is mentioned in the Vedas. He is one of the Vedic Rishis. He is mentioned in Rig Veda. He is also one of the Sapta Rishis. He is mentioned in the Mahabharata as the father of Dronacharya and the grandfather of Ashwatthama. And he is also mentioned in Ramayana. So what is Vaimanika Shastra? Vaimanika Shastra is the science of aeronautics. It forms a part of a larger treatise called as Yantra Sarvasva, also authored by Rishi Bharadwaja. So how does Bharadwaja describe what a Vimana is? In his first sutra, he says this about Vimana. Vega samyat Vimano andajanam. That means, owing to the similarity of speed with birds, it is named Vimana. So Andaja is basically egg-born. So the Vimanas look like birds. So before we go ahead with Vaimanika Shastra, let's look at a little bit of history associated with Vimanas. According to Western scientists, the science of aeronautics is 5,000 years old. But we know that it is older than that. The Vimanas and Rathas have been mentioned in Ramayana, Mahabharata. It is also mentioned in Kautilya's Arthashastra. It is also mentioned in the Ashokan era edicts. In the Ramayana, it is mentioned in the form of Pushpaka Vimana. In the Mahabharata, it is mentioned in the form of Sabha. Sabha is the Vimana used by Shalva to attack Dwaraka. Pushpaka Vimana, as we know, was used by Ravana when he stole it from Kubera. And finally, Rama kills Ravana and takes the Vimana and comes to Ayodhya. That we know. In the Rig Veda, the oldest book of the human civilization, few modes of transportation are mentioned. First is Jalayan. Jalayan is basically a vehicle designed to operate in air and water. The next is Kara. Kara is a vehicle that operates on ground and water. Tritala. Tritala is a vehicle which is consisting of 3 stories. Trichakra Ratha, as the name itself suggests, it's a 3-wheeled vehicle designed to operate in the air. Then we have Vayu Ratha. Vayu Ratha is a gas or wind powered chariot. Vidyut Ratha. Vidyut, a vehicle which operates on power. So in Yajur Veda also, there is a mention of skilled engineers who work on these Rathas and Vimanas. And similarly in Katha Sarit Sagar, we have mention of skilled worksmen who work on the Rathas. In Agastya Samhita, there is a mention of 2 types of aircrafts. One is Agniyana, which is powered by hydrogen, and the other is Vimana Dvigunam, which is like a parachute. So these 2 are mentioned in Agastya Samhita. Now coming to Vaimanika Shastra. So what does Vaimanika Shastra cover? It covers aeronautics, the design of various types of aircrafts. It talks about the pilot, how a pilot should be, what are his skills, what is the food that a pilot should eat, what are the clothes that a pilot wears, and the various parts associated with the aircraft, and also the energy or energy sources that are required to power the aircraft. So there are various energy sources, but apart from that, there is a free energy source called solar energy with which the aircraft can be powered. That is also mentioned in this book. And then the various metals and alloys that are required to construct an aircraft. This is a book which is written in Sanskrit, which has 8 chapters, 100 sections, 500 principles and 3000 shlokas. That is how extensive this is. Unfortunately, this book was lost and found again in 1875 in a temple. Since then, many people have tried to understand this. One of the translations was done by Subbaraya Shastri, and he's written a book in Sanskrit which was converted into English, from which I have taken this material. I'll post the material in the description box. You can also go ahead and look at it. So this treatise or this Shastra mentions 3 types of aircrafts: Mantrika, Tantrika and Kritaka. So in the 4 yugas that we have, Krita Yuga, people were dharmic, the dharma was well established, and hence people could travel to different places with their Ashtasiddhis. In the Treta Yuga, Mantrika type of aircrafts were used. That means the pilot had to know various mantras to power the aircraft. So, in the book, it has been mentioned that there are 25 varieties of such aircrafts, primary one being Pushpaka Vimana. In the Dwapar Yuga, the Vimanas were called Tantrika Vimanas. So, the pilot had to know the tantras associated with flying the aircraft. So there were 56 types of aircrafts mentioned in Dwapar Yuga, which include Bhairava and Nandaka. And now the Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga, the ongoing Yuga, it is called Kritaka Vimana. So the Vimanas associated with Kali Yuga are called Kritaka Vimanas, which are flown by usage of power of engines. So the pilot has to know all the science associated with the engines as well. So there are 25 different types of Vimanas which have been mentioned in Kali Yuga. Those include Sundara, Shukana and Rukma. I will post pictures of all these three types of Vimanas at the end. So Bharadwaja in this book mentions that there are 32 secrets which are associated with the science of aeronautics. And all these 32 secrets are supposed to be known to the pilot, and that is when he is qualified to become a pilot. So these include the mantra, tantra, kritaka, all these things. Apart from that, he is also supposed to know the parashabda graha, that is the ability to listen to conversations happening in some other flight. Two secrets include Shatru Vimana Kampana Kriya and Shatru Vimana Nashana Kriya. That is basically shaking and destroying the enemy aircraft. And also the ability to photograph enemy planes, rendering their occupants unconscious and making one's own plane invisible. The Vaimanika Shastra also covers the following things: the secret science of constructing aircrafts which will not catch fire and are indestructible by normal means. And then there is a secret of making aircrafts motionless, 100% stealth aircrafts, espionage using remote hearing, that secret is also mentioned, espionage using remote viewing, the secret of radar technology for viewing remote enemy planes, the secret of making enemies unconscious, the secret of destroying enemy planes. All these things have also been mentioned in this treatise. I'll quote two examples when you'll understand what has been done with respect to this science. So how did the Vimanas fly? So they had this ion engine technology based on mercury. So there was this person called Shivkar Bapuji Talpade, and he designed this kind of an aircraft in 1895, 8 years before Wright brothers actually flew the manned aircraft. So Talpade, who was in Mumbai, made this aircraft with the help of the Vaimanika Shastra treatise. So Talpade took the help of Subbaraya Shastri as well to understand the Vaimanika Shastra and build this aircraft. So he powered the engine with the help of ion engine as well as solar. So he successfully did this, and the aircraft flew to around 150 feet in the air. This was witnessed by Ranade, who was a judge, and also by Shayajirao Gaikwad, the king of Baroda at that time. Both of them actually witnessed this, and this was recorded in a magazine called Kesari. We have proof for this. But unfortunately, during that time when we were ruled by British, they didn't like this kind of experimentation, and they stopped the funds going from Shayajirao Gaikwad to Talpade. So that was what had happened to that experiment. The second example that I'm going to quote is this. The Academy of Sanskrit Research in Melkote near Mandya was commissioned by Aeronautical Research Development Board, New Delhi. Take up 1 year study of non-conventional approach to aeronautics. So in this 1 year study based on Vaimanika Shastra, obviously. So as a result of this research, a glass-like material which cannot be detected by radars was developed by Professor Dongre, who was a research scholar of Banaras Hindu University. So when a plane is coated with this unique glass-like material, it cannot be detected by radar. So that was also done. So these two examples I have quoted just to prove that this kind of treatise or this kind of Shastra exists. But unfortunately now we don't have the capability. So there might be some Sanskrit scholars who might not be well versed in physics, and there might be physicists who might not know Sanskrit, and hence there's this gap because of which this kind of text is not going out. So if somebody is interested in doing research, we should push that person, and probably, something might come out of this kind of great research work, this kind of great Shastra. So this is all about Vaimanika Shastra. I'll put all the references in the description box. I hope you have liked this video. The question for the day is, what are the other Shastras that Bharadwaja Muni is associated with? Can you put them in the description box? And also, how did you like this kind of video? So do let me know in the comment section. I'll see you in the next video. And do follow me on all the social media platforms, and go to my website zestynimbu.com and answer the quiz there. So do keep following me, and until the next video, namaste.